So, good morning, children. So, let us continue. Hope so you have revised this chapter. So, in the previous sessions, we were discussing about the three important biogeochemical cycles. That was, if you can recall, the first one was about water cycle, then oxygen cycle, and then nitrogen cycle. So, to this another list of important biogeochemical cycles we have, that is carbon. Okay, children. Now we all know what is carbon. Carbon is an element, and what is its atomic number? 6. Okay, and it exists in the form of mostly in many forms. It's a non-metal which will be existing in various forms. So just let us see what are its forms of existence. In its purest form, that is only as carbon, it may exist as diamond or graphite, which is used as your pencil lead. Then, as a compound, we often know carbon as carbon dioxide. Then, methane as methane gas. Now, methane gas is mostly produced by the ruminants, by the animals. Okay, especially the herbivore animals. And then this is also found in the mines and all. When they are extracted, the gas, which is also called as marsh gas, is released from these mines and mines. Then carbonates and bicarbonates, that is limestone. Okay, then of course it is also a building element of the various life forms. Okay, so what are all those life forms? As in what forms it is existing: carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, nucleic acids. What are nucleic acids? Nothing but DNA and RNA. Then when these live animals die, their remains may also contain carbon in its useful form for the mankind, that is fossil fuels. Even our skeleton, okay, in the chapter tissues we learned the composition, and the endoskeleton of both of all the various life forms contains this carbon. Okay, children. Now, to know little more about carbon, let us just I will run this video. Please view this.
Carbon is an element that is crucial to every living organism. It is also a key component of our atmospheric air, and it cycles through our Earth, the ocean, biotic factors, abiotic factors, and the air constantly. Carbon recycles along 5 major locations or influences. These items include the atmosphere, the terrestrial biosphere, the Earth's interior, the ocean, and human influence. Let's take a look at what happens at each of these items or influences. Carbon is found in the atmosphere in at least 2 forms: carbon dioxide and methane. This atmospheric carbon can be absorbed by autotrophs like plants and plankton to be used for photosynthesis. It can also be absorbed by bodies of water and the ocean. When carbon is absorbed by the ocean, it reacts with the water and creates carbonic acid. The terrestrial biosphere, which is another term for the Earth's land, has several paths for carbon. First, there is an exchange between plants and animals. Plants absorb carbon for photosynthesis, and the animals release carbon during cellular respiration. Also, heterotrophs eat plants that contain carbon. Animals also release carbon as methane during digestion, and soil contains decomposers that release carbon into the atmosphere and the soil. Carbon is also stored in the Earth's interior. Carbon in the lithosphere includes fossil fuels like coal, oil, natural gas, and deposits like limestone. Volcanoes may release some of this carbon stored in the lithosphere. Up next is the ocean. The ocean has the greatest exchange of cycled carbon and stores a large amount of carbon. The ocean absorbs carbon in the form of carbon dioxide. The ocean also has a large amount of plankton that absorb carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. Humans also influence the movement of carbon. Humans burn fossil fuels, which release carbon into the atmosphere, by combustion. Also, the production of clinker, which is used for cement from limestone, also releases carbon into the atmosphere. In addition, deforestation from humans can increase the amount of carbon in the atmosphere. So there we go, an overview of the path of an atom of carbon.
So now, if you have seen the video, children, so he was talking about which cycle, carbon cycle. But children, we never, when we talk about a carbon cycle, we are referring carbon in its what form? Carbon dioxide form, which will be flowing between the abiotic factors and the biotic factors. Am I clear? Now, if the video has made most of the things clear, let us just see the flow of the carbon dioxide between the abiotic and the biotic factors. Now, as we all know, who utilizes or who converts the carbon dioxide into useful form? Yes, plants. So when plants use, they convert it into a useful substance called as your carbohydrate, that is food. And during what event? During photosynthesis. Okay, that is one. So this plants are actually maintaining the balance of carbon dioxide in the nature. Apart from plants, the other organisms of the aquatic bodies, that is the aquatic animals, will use this carbon dioxide in order to prepare their shells. Okay, children. So these are the two life forms which actually play an important role in balancing the carbon dioxide percentage in the atmosphere. So now you can understand, if these are not existing, then what may happen to the balance of carbon dioxide in the nature? We know carbon dioxide actually in the atmosphere is just under 0.03%, but gradually it is increasing. So now let us continue just with that. So these plants are consumed by whom? Animals. Okay. So when they consume, they are utilizing that energy, that food, in order to obtain energy. So during this energy production, the food is broken down, which again releases carbon dioxide back into atmosphere. And what do we call that event? Respiration. Now, not only animals, but even plants respire. So, the one life process which is releasing the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere is what? Respiration. Then, another natural event, which of course does not occur in the living organisms, but it occurs in the dead organisms. So when these plants and animals die, they are going to be decomposed by microorganisms, which are called as what? Decomposers, fungi and bacteria. So when they decompose, they are going to turn that organic matter into minerals, thereby also releasing some amount of carbon dioxide. Okay. Or if these are not decomposed, sometimes due to extreme temperature and pressure, they may be converted into fossils. These fossils or fossil fuels which are not completely decomposed. So then they result in the production of this fossil fuels, which are nothing but your coal and petroleum, that is your oil and gas, which are utilized by mankind. Now we are using them in our daily life, in our domestic activities, industries, vehicles. Okay, so all these, when they are since these are fuels, a source of energy, when they are broken down, they also release carbon dioxide. And what do we call that event as? Combustion. So this is going to be released back into the atmosphere. Fine, children. Now this is the rotation between the living organisms to the atmosphere. Now let us just see what happens when this carbon dioxide get dissolves in water. You all know two gases which dissolve in water are oxygen and carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide, a large amount of this carbon dioxide is going to go into these huge water bodies, that is water, oceans and seas. Now these may be reaching the ocean bodies or water bodies in the form of acid rain, because carbon dioxide gets mixed with water and forming a acid called as your carbonic acid, which when gets split into ions or will combine with the metallic ions, to form your shell carbonates, that is the limestones, or they may be utilized by the living organisms to form the shells. So this way this is going to be settled in the earth's crust. So this only when this limestone gets deposited in huge amount, they may just explode in back under the pressure. They may explode as what? Volcanic eruptions, which again releases this carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. Okay, children. So this was about what carbon dioxide, carbon cycle, which preferably goes in what form? In a compound form called as your carbon dioxide. Fine. And as we have told, that excess amount of this carbon dioxide will release what? Will be released into the atmosphere, causing what? Increase in its percentage, leading to pollution. Okay, now that pollution or impact of carbon dioxide is termed as what? Greenhouse effect. Okay, children. So about that we will learn in our next session. Thank you. Have a good day.